Ukraine unveils its first F-16 fighters.
Vietnam Coast Guard ship arrives in Manila for port call.
Unique features of Duc Son ancient pagoda.
You're watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Zhang, your host. Ukraine has released the first images of Ukrainian F-16 fighters operating in the sky of this country under the supervision of President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the country's pilots have started flying F-16 fighters to carry out missions across the sky of Ukraine. Zelensky refused to disclose the number of F-16s that Kiev has received, but The Economist reported that Ukraine received the first 10 F-16s supported by Western countries. It is expected that by the end of 2024, Ukraine will have 20 F-16s in operation. However, Zelensky emphasized that the current number is not enough. Moscow warned that the F-16 fighters will not change the outcome of the conflict but will only prolong it. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said earlier this week that there is no magic pill for Kiev and that it will not have this panacea for long.
The UK is witnessing its worst rioting in 30 years after disturbances linked to child murders and involving far-right agitators flared across the country on Sunday. The anti-immigration protests erupted following a mass stabbing that killed 3 young girls in the Southport earlier this week.
On July 29th, a knife attack in Southport shocked the UK. The suspect, a 17-year-old boy born in Cardiff, killed 3 young girls. Soon after, false information spread on social media, claiming that the suspect was Muslim and an immigrant. This false report incited a wave of anti-Muslim violence from far-right groups, with a series of protests and clashes across the country. As the riots spread, the British police deployed an additional 4,000 officers nationwide to deal with the situation. The current situation in the UK is very unstable, with more than 140 people arrested since the night of August 3rd. Authorities are on high alert to prevent further violence.
On the morning of August the 5th, Vietnam Coast warship 8002 arrives at Manila port and is greeted by Philippine Coast Guard officers during a goodwill visit to the country.
This visit demonstrates the strength and depth of the relationship not only between the Philippine Coast Guard and the Vietnam Coast Guard but also strengthens the relationship between the two countries. The presence of Vietnam Coast Guard ship 8002 is a strong symbol of common goals, especially in the field of maritime safety and security, and demonstrates Vietnam's active membership in the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum. According to the plan, the Vietnam Coast Guard delegation will pay courtesy visits to leaders and visit the headquarters of the Philippine Coast Guard, participate in sports exchanges, cultural tours, and conduct joint search and rescue and fire prevention exercises at sea with the Philippine Coast Guard.
Coming up next are some updated news.
The Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam is planning to build runways for Vin International Airport according to the planning until 2030, with a vision to 2050. Accordingly, the current runway of Vin International Airport will be extended from 2,400 meters to 3,000 meters and a new runway will be built that intersects the old one. Extending the old runway will allow the airport to accommodate large aircraft such as the Airbus A350 and Boeing B787. The expansion project will begin before 2030, while the second 3,000 meters runway will be built from 2030 to 2050. The cross-runway design is intended to limit the impact on city structures and avoid flights cutting through the city center during takeoff and landing. Vin International Airport will become the first airport in Vietnam to have 2 intersecting runways.
According to the Plant Protection Department, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, grapefruit is the 3rd fresh fruit of Vietnam allowed to be imported into Korea, along with dragon fruit and mango. Currently, Vietnam has about 105,400 hectares of grapefruit, with an estimated output of 905,000 tons. Grapefruit varieties are diverse, typical of each region. Specifically, the Red River Delta has more than 13,000 hectares with an output of 175,000 tons. The Northern Midlands and mountainous areas have more than 30,000 hectares, with an output of 253,000 tons. The Mekong Delta has about 32,000 hectares, with an output of about 369,000 tons. Vietnamese grapefruit, allowed to be imported into Korea, is an important step forward, opening up great opportunities for our country's agricultural products.
Renowned travel site Wanderlust Storytellers recently recognized Mu Cang Chai, Vietnam, as the top destination in its list of 25 places with surreal beauty worldwide. Wanderlust Storytellers commented that Mu Cang Chai seems not to exist in the world because of its rare beauty. Famous for its beautiful terraced fields, Mu Cang Chai is dyed with the emerald green color of new rice, and when the rice is ripe, it shines with a brilliant golden color. Through the skillful hands and creativity and diligence of farmers, a vivid picture that changes over time has been created, showing the harmony between nature and people.
Moving on to today's story. Located in Duc Son village, Nam Dan town, Nam Dan district, Duc Son pagoda is considered the oldest pagoda in Nghệ An. This place is also famous for preserving nearly 40 Buddhist statues and hundreds of precious ancient wooden sculptures. According to recorded documents, Duc Son pagoda was built during the Truyền dynasty on the ancient land of Văn An. In the 25th year of Duc, the pagoda was restored and embellished. In 2001, the pagoda was ranked as a National Historical Architectural Artistic Relic by the Ministry of Culture and Information. In particular, Duc Son pagoda also preserved nearly 40 Buddhist statues dating back hundreds of years, which are extremely richly carved and have high historical and artistic value.
Previously, there was a temple near the market, but due to the destruction of the war, they brought some Buddha statues here, and the statues here are mainly made of jackfruit wood.
In the same area as Duc Son pagoda, Duc Son Temple coexists. This is a special feature because of the harmony between Buddhism and Taoism. Currently, Duc Son pagoda and Duc Son Temple still preserve over 300 ancient wooden scriptures with both Chinese and Nom characters used to print Buddhist scriptures for monks, nuns, Buddhists, and people in the surrounding area.
Although it is ancient and has many valuable artifacts, the temples and pagodas are all degraded and need to be repaired and restored soon.
In addition to the Buddhist statues and ancient wooden sculpture, Duc Son Temple also has an ancient bell weighing 180 kg, engraved with the Chinese characters Duc Son Tự Trung, cast during the late dynasty. With the long-standing cultural values of the temple, Duc Son pagoda has become a spiritual address, a place to preserve ancient historical imprints. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.